Welcome back to Stompbox Breakdown. I'm excited. This is a big one. Literally, this is the biggest pedal I've done a video on so far, and I have a lot to say about it, so let's get started. It's the Boss SL-20 Slicer. Alright, so this probably needs some explaining. The SL-20 is listed as an audio pattern processor, and that doesn't really help much either. Basically, it cuts, or slices, your signal rhythmically, and you might be thinking, well, big deal, I can do that with any tremolo set to a square wave and full intensity. But this thing does so much more. For starters, it's not limited to a simple up and down pattern. It's got a whole assortment of ways it can slice and subdivide a measure, like this for instance. So that was like a quarter note followed by 6/8 notes. It also does harmonic slice patterns, which produces melodies based on what you're playing, like this. But it's not just rhythmic gating and pitch shifting either. Like, there seems to be some sort of glitchy filtering stuff happening in Bank 3 Patch 6. There's so much happening in this pedal, so let's start by taking a look at the controls, and I'm gonna walk through these in the order in which you're likely to set them up. So you start with selecting the bank and the pattern. Banks 1 through 3 are full of rhythmic patterns, and they generally start out simple, like your quarter and eighth notes, and they get more complex and syncopated as you go up. Banks 4 and 5 are where the harmonic pitch shifting patterns are, and those are pretty wild. So you find a pattern you want to work with, and then you set the tempo. And you can do that by spinning this knob or by tapping it out with the right pedal. When you engage the effect with the left pedal, it automatically starts at beat 1, and you can also reset it to beat 1 while it's already running by just hitting the right pedal. So you don't have to sit there and wait for it to get back to 1, because with some patches, that can be kind of tricky. Now, down to these two, the attack and duty. These are the shape and duration of the pulses. All the way on the left, it kind of sounds like a regular tremolo. In the middle, it's more like a square wave, that quick cutover. And all the way on the right, it actually adds an accent to the attack, so it's got a lot more of a percussive sound to it. The duty knob sets how long each beat stays on, so all the way on the left, you hardly hear anything but that quick hit. And the more you increase it, the longer the gate remains open. You can also select whether the pedal will be in Latch or Momentary mode. Latch mode is good for if you're going to use it as a rhythmic tool and you're going to leave it on for a while like we've been doing so far. But this Momentary mode is great if you want to use it to add like a quick stutter effect, almost like a rhythmic kill switch kind of thing. There's this AFI song I love called Love Like Winter, and I'd play it for you, but I'm afraid of a copyright strike. Anyway, the chorus has something like this. And I always thought that was just a really unique and powerful way of punctuating the space between the vocals. And I guess REM also kind of did something like that in What's the Frequency, Kenneth? Anyway, with the pedal in Momentary mode, you can just walk up to it and quickly get in and get out just fast enough for people to go, what the heck was that? The SL-20 is a stereo pedal. It's got a whole section up here just dedicated to different panning modes. So it can go back and forth, ping pong, auto, random. It even has some 3D modes that are pretty amazing. It's also got stereo ins, which means you can put the Tera-Echo in front of it, the RV6 after it, and And of course, there's a built-in looper, and to use that, you just hold down the left pedal for 2 seconds until the red light starts flashing, then you hit it again to start the recording, hit it again to stop it, and then it starts playing. Hit it one more time and it stops playing. So there's no option for doing overdubs, it's a one-shot type of thing. The effect and direct knobs let you set the levels, so if you set the direct all the way down, you'll get a total silence between those beats. Now, what seems kind of weird to me is if you want to record a pattern that cuts way out and then play over it, you need to record the pattern with the direct knob all the way down, set up your loop, and then bring the direct knob back up for your live playing. Otherwise, you won't get any direct signal. That took me a while to figure out, and I felt pretty dumb when I did, so there you go. I think this is one of the most ambitious pedals Boss ever put out, and it's the kind of thing that has no real competition, but they still packed it full of features like it had to be the absolute best one of these out there. Just gotta admire that. The average price of an SL-20 today is $250 and climbing, but both the MD200 and MD500 have slicer modes, so if you're after that sound, you might as well get all of Boss's other modulation effects along with it. Now, you probably don't need a slicer, but after playing with this for the better part of a day to make this video, I really do think it's the ultimate secret weapon pedal. For songwriters, pick a normal chord progression that's just not doing anything by itself, run it through one of these patterns, throw it into a loop, and fish out a melody that sits on top of it. It can be a really powerful source of inspiration. And for live performances, forget about it. There's the looper, the momentary option. There's also the option for setting the tempo through MIDI. You can control a bunch of the parameters through an expression pedal. Really, all that's missing is a fog machine mode. And in the right hands, this pedal is ready to blow minds. In my own personal and totally not at all real headcanon, The SL-20 started out as the TR-20, a dual pedal version of the TR-2, and they just kept jamming features into it until it kind of turned into its own thing. Boss could probably just keep cranking out blues drivers and delay pedals and call it a day, but I'm really glad they dedicate resources to productizing a shot in the dark every once in a while. Think about the crazy stuff like Univibes, Fuzz Phases, and the Deluxe Memory Man. Absolutely crazy ideas on paper that became industry standards on pedal boards. So kudos to Boss and kudos to you for sticking with me until the end of this very, very long video, and maybe I'll see you on the next episode of Stompbox Breakdown.